Have you ever thought that you're just a side character in someone else's story? People keep saying about how we're the main character in our life. That's how we should live. Well, that's true, but have you ever thought that maybe, simultaneously, sometimes without even realizing, you're also the second lead? Act 1. The unexpected twist. In this life, you'll meet a lot of people. And if you're lucky, you'll get to connect with them. If you're really, really lucky, you'll connect with them on a deeper level. When I met this type of people, it got me thinking, what are the chances? Is it possible that we've met before? Maybe in our past lives or in another universe?
From the moment that we met, you're worth the wait.
It was a random Tuesday evening, and there he was, with his bright smile and eyes full of curiosity. There were no sparks. I remember I didn't have many thoughts. After all, I didn't expect anything. In fact, it has been so long since I last expected something from someone. It was just a random Tuesday evening, and I seriously had no idea that it would be the beginning of everything.
Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know.
Talking to him felt like an easy Sunday afternoon with an iced coffee in hand. It's like dipping your feet in the water, like a fresh air breathing on a hot summer day. Refreshing and calm.
Best thing that I'll ever know.
This was nothing like the movies. No particular romantic scenes. No accidental touch. No poetic words. It was just us, mostly talking. Wandering across galleries and bookshop alleys. But somehow, I started to feel like I was the main protagonist in the movie. From meeting someone so unexpectedly to slowly opening up about each other's life. For once, everything just made sense. Until it didn't. Act 2. The unfinished business. Here's the thing. Sometimes I fail to remember that even when everything feels easy, there are still so many things outside my control. Like the way we were here, briefly. Or the fact that since the beginning, each of us carried an emotional baggage. One's probably heavier than another. So when he took a U-turn to go back to his past, I was left misunderstood. It's just the words sorry and thank you surprisingly sounded worse than a goodbye. And just when I thought this would be the ending, I was wrong. The shadow of his past came to life and turned me into the greatest villain of all time. I was never ready for a fight. I never even wanted it at all. Together, they pulled the sword out of me. It was wrapped with words I'd never imagined coming from him. I was a crumpled piece of paper, lying helplessly, and yet there I saw them, laughing and dancing over my dying soul. In that moment, in the midst of my hurting, I realized that I thought I could have a chance. Yet once again, I was proven wrong. He was never real, and I was only the second lead. Act 3. Life goes on. Has it ever crossed your mind that it's both a blessing and a curse to feel everything so deeply? There I was again, lying with my mind filled with what ifs and should haves. I didn't die that day, though I had to live through the sleepless nights. I did run so many scenarios, trying to come up with what I did wrong this time, but I couldn't. And after letting myself dwell on the emotions, the realization hit me with total clarity. Life goes on. And here's the truth. Sometimes you just don't forget someone and move on. Because it will feel like you also let go part of yourself that's attached to that person. As cruel as it sounds, you don't get to completely erase someone. You just carry on until you're used to it. It makes sense to me somehow, because after that day, I continued living. I was still a functioned human being after all, but I fully realized that the sadness is still and will be here. I did have some regrets about what happened. And maybe that's why I sometimes wish I'd never met him. I took the first step towards healing. I decided to only remember the good parts about meeting him and less about regretting it, because life goes on and I want to live.
I wanna make this forever. I wanna make this forever.
Please don't be a stranger. I still remember vividly how I said that to him in front of the subway station on that night, just before we parted ways. I didn't know back then the universe has its own funny story written for us. So once again we're strangers, but this time with memories. Hello everyone, if you're here right now, you get to know more about the real and the raw part of this whole story. Honestly, my t-shirt kind of sums it all. Unlovable. So the whole story with this person, I knew from the start that he's fresh off the boat, which was a very significant relationship. And honestly, I didn't even look for anything at all. So I thought, whatever, right? Like, he's off the boat and he was in progress of walking away from it. That's why the story happened, and it was a good 1 month off the boat, or so I thought, until he decided to get back on it. I remember it was past midnight when he told me this, and I was so disappointed. It was unfair, but surprisingly, I was not too surprised. It's just how humans are so prone to the idea of familiarity. Long story short, I got the explanation from him. So it's just him making a stop because the boat has run out of fuel and there's some machinery issue, and that he decided to walk away for a bit. And now that everything's fixed, he decided to go back on it and sail away. Wow, that's actually a very good analogy. Yeah, so I accepted that. But as if it's not enough, I was blocked everywhere, which I still think that it's so unnecessary because I didn't do anything wrong. For real though, I think I was pretty mature. I didn't go crazy and I didn't beg him to stay. I didn't do anything psychotic to be blocked. So yeah, suddenly it was like put to an end. It's like I was doing my stand-up comedy bit on a stage and I was having a good time, and then suddenly someone just snatched my mic. Then I was just there on the stage, confused, a bit angry, but mostly confused. I didn't even get to say my punchline. So yeah, that's me grieving part 1. So until this part, I know some of you might say, oh my god, don't worry, it's just a month. Oh my god, you're not even in a relationship. Trust me, those words have been played repeatedly on my mind. It's pretty tough for me because in the end I kind of invalidated my own feelings. I have the right to feel the sadness, but then at the same time I feel like I don't have the right because it's been just a good month, or it's just nothing according to them. But what I'm trying to say is that heartbreak is a heartbreak, and trust me, you haven't heard the worst part yet. So a few days after everything ended, I was still trying to put myself back together. I received a message from the female lead this time. She said sorry that I got the wrong idea about him and about everything, and that they'll move to a more serious stage of the relationship. That's the reason why I had to be blocked, because he should focus only on the things that are certain and necessary. Like, no, but seriously though, like, don't you guys find it weird? Because I was so confused when I read that. I was like, girl, what? But I replied like, why sorry? And I kind of listed what happened during that 1 month. Obviously not everything, and of course blocking me is so unnecessary, because if they both feel secure in what they have, then I don't think they should worry about me. But yeah, anyways, I was being polite, and I feel like I just wanted to have a share of what I thought was happening. I didn't even want to have a reply, honestly. Like, oh my god, like I thought the movie's ending already, but apparently not. Because actually there's a credit scene and it's pretty crazy. But anyway, so like I said, I was being polite, but she went wild. What I'm about to show you guys, it's the actual screenshot of the message that I received, and it's in Bahasa Indonesia. I don't really think that you can get the rudeness of that message unless you're Indonesian. But I will translate. It's a bit tough looking at the screenshots again, but I have to do it, so yeah. Okay, so for this one, she said that she felt bad every time he told stories about myself. Basically, he doesn't like girls who wear revealing clothes, and he thought that there's no connection. I was someone who's always craving for princess treatment, and it's just me who thought that everything's special, but for him it's nothing. It's so cringe. The last part is in English, so you guys can read it. There's never a chance of compatibility. I swear to god. Wow. So when I read that, I was like, all right, okay. I mean, you can dislike me, but goddamn, you swore to God for not liking me? What? That's the cherry on top. Okay, let's continue. It's pretty hard. There's never really been a date. He just said that it was because he pitied me. The female lead continued saying that the part that she felt sorry the most is that when he said these things. She was not my type. I don't want to be with someone who's Chinese and thin. There's no way that I like her. I don't want her. She's ugly. She's not pretty. She's just Chinese. And the female lead added, find the wording, but whatever, right? Like, this is how people say about physical preference. This was coming from his mouth and she didn't add anything. If I were surprised about this behavior of him, it's natural because I only knew him for a brief period, but for her, she's been with him for more than 10 years. So in her words, of course I know my shit. Okay, it's still quite tough reading that all over again, but I'm getting better, so I'm okay. Personally, I think that's so uncalled for, so I immediately blocked these two people. I decided not to do anything about it. Besides, obviously cried for a few days, talked to my closest ones. Look, I'm not a saint, but I'm not an evil person. Like, I didn't know what I was painted as the villain here. I really think I didn't do anything wrong. And I talked to at least 5 people about this, and we tried to unpack, okay? Like, we tried to be objective and saw the whole picture, but we couldn't really think what I did so wrong to the point that someone was so triggered and said those things. No one was in a relationship when this happened. I didn't even go crazy when things ended. I didn't even look for her presence anywhere. Like, I was just there. I think the only fault that I committed in this whole story is that I chose to open up to someone and actually be genuine about what I felt. Oh, and I actually got the wrong idea about everything because apparently it's just all in my head, like they said. Oh yeah, and that's me grieving part 2. I think it's no longer about missing the idea of him because technically speaking, that person didn't exist. For now, it's mostly about me and how I perceive myself. I obviously have my own insecurities too about my physique and my appearance. I was never told in my face that I was this stupid, ugly looking, thin Chinese girl. I don't know, I feel like it's just so mean. They both laugh at me as if what I committed was something really stupid and some kind of flaws. Please allow me to get one thing straight. I was being genuine. And in my opinion, honestly, I think it's not a weakness. Yes, it can be seen as a mistake, but I seriously think that it's one of the bravest things to do, to trust someone and open yourself up and share some parts of your world. People actually would say, don't show your sadness. You have to show that you're living your best life and that you're moving on. I don't think I want to do that. As they move to a more serious stage in their relationship, I want them to always remember that they've badly hurt someone along their journey, and that person is me. What I'm trying to say is that I don't mind showing my vulnerability. I don't want to apologize for being myself, for looking like this, for feeling so deeply, and for being genuine, being considerate, and for taking the time to heal. There were days when I just wanted to disappear in my sleep, but one day I just decided that I couldn't continue living like this. So I talked a lot with my family and my friends. They made me realize that life is so much more than whatever happened. There are still people that I haven't met and that I can take my camera and take pictures or record some moments again, that I can take my time to heal as much as I want, and it's totally okay. And the thing about healing is that it's not linear. On most days I could go out and take my camera, actually feel inspired. On some other, when I walked on a familiar street or visited a store, or when I listened to a specific song, I would remember everything and the wave of sadness would crush me over and over again. But on most days, I'm doing just fine. And yeah, so with this video being published, I think I have my own closure. From time to time, I think the memories will haunt me, but I hope now that I'm finding my own closure, I think I'm able to move forward to a brighter and a better future, I hope. And I'm actually very curious about what you guys think about this whole story, so feel free to let me know in the comment if I actually did something wrong or if I should do something else, or if you guys have any tips or any personal experience you would like to share about moving on from someone. So yeah, this is it. Thank you for always listening to my rambling. I would like to also say thank you to my friends. I seriously wouldn't be here if not for this guys, so you guys know who you are, so thank you so much. Okay, so thank you guys again, and I hope you always remember that even if you feel like your movie is so depressing or not even progressing or just boring, you are still the main character of your own story. Hope to see you guys in another video soon. Goodbye for now.